Hey guys, Jason again with Jtrain Fitness, here to give you another video blog post. I know I haven't been making these a lot lately, so I'm excited to do another one because I have a topic that I'd really like to talk about today for a special video blog post. So when I'm in the gym, I see a lot of people oftentimes come up to me and they say, hey, how do I stop? One side seems like it's stronger than the other, or one side seems like it's more developed than the other. And a lot of times it might be true. It's usually not. One muscle side might be definitely stronger than the other for whatever muscle group, your shoulders, your arms, your legs. But oftentimes when they say one looks more developed than the other, yeah, it might be true to some extent, but not to a noticeable extent. I mean, they really have to look at themselves in the mirror often, and the only person who really ever notices it is them. But it does bring up an issue that is something I've been thinking about a lot recently about, and I thought I'd offer my tips on things you should think about when you're doing this, and things to think about when you lift, and possible ways that you can actually change your workout to help improve your workout, and maybe even help get more symmetry with your muscle growth and your strength. So I want to begin, I guess, by talking about my favorite exercise to hate, the bench press. I've talked about how I hate how it doesn't give you a full range of motion, and it doesn't really necessarily take advantage of the muscle groups that it's trying to work, like how they work and how they pull stuff or push stuff or whatever their mechanics are. But another thing about the bench press that kind of brings this this concept I'm going to talk about forward is that when you do any exercise where you're using two muscle groups at one time, like two arms, two biceps, two shoulders, both your legs at the same time, it's very important that you realize that when you do this, one side is probably dominating the other. So let's say barbell. It's not necessarily bench press. So let's say you're doing barbell curls, for example. Let me take my remote dumbbell here, my remote barbell here, when you do this, it looks like, and you'll feel that you're doing it right, and you probably are stimulating something, especially if you're just starting out lifting. But I almost guarantee you that one side is dominating the other. It might not be as exaggerated as this, but when you lift, your right side or left side, for example, might be doing 60% of the work while the other side's doing 40% of the work. And if you really think about it, you'll start to notice it. You'll start to notice that one side is leading the other side. And why is that important? Well, if one side's doing 60% of the work and the other side's doing 40% of the work, the side with 60% of the work is going to fatigue faster, and it's going to it's gonna fail faster than the other side, and the other side in turn is not going to have as much stress and stimulation as it should. So with any exercise that recruits two muscle groups, you have to be aware of that, and you have to try to make sure that one side is not leaning more than the other side, and that one side isn't pushing harder than the other side. If you think one side is stronger, that might be why, because you've been doing a lot of exercises like that. One way that you can change up your workouts, and one way I would definitely recommend that you change up your workouts and start doing your workouts, is by, if you can isolate one side and do that side first and then switch over to the other side, any exercise, triceps, biceps, legs, all that stuff, try doing it with one side first, because then you have 100% of the stress, 100% of the force, work, whatever you want to call it, on that side, and you're properly stimulating that muscle to the fullest. And when you fail, you know that that side of that muscle group fully failed, as opposed to one side failing and then you quitting on the other side that hasn't necessarily failed yet. So let's say instead of barbell curls, you do dumbbell curls. Instead of barbell press for your shoulders, you do shoulder presses. Those are things you can do, or you do dumbbell shoulder presses. So anytime you can use one side, do that. If you use them in unison, I would highly recommend using dumbbells. I try to use dumbbells whenever I can, but if there's an exercise where you can just do one side, so a lot of the cable work or the leg work, when you can just kind of use one side, or press with just one side first, go ahead and do that. I've been trying to do that recently, and I mean, I haven't been doing it long enough to where I can be like, oh yeah, definitely, so much more, gains on this side. But I've been doing it to where I feel like both sides are definitely stimulated the same, and that helps your symmetry, and that helps your overall strength. It helps prevent, posture problems and everything from one side being so much more dominant because you're leaning on that side more, you're relying on that side more. So those are kind of the tips I would give you if you're trying to prevent asymmetry issues, or one side being stronger than the other issues, and it'll help give you a more complete workout, and stimulate both parts of a given muscle group fully. So try that if you're kind of plateauing, or if you feel like one side is just not getting the stimulation that it should. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed this new video that I've been doing, that I haven't been doing for a while. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Subscribe if you want to, and have a great day. All right, guys, see ya. if you really liked it, and have a fantastic day. All right, guys, see ya.